you're going to get frustrated and depressed. So dream and do, create that runway for your success. You are absolutely qualified to live the life of your dreams, and you can be the success that you desire. Welcome to the Conscious Investor. Let's get started. Welcome back, Conscious Investor. Dang, do you feel like you're not the success that you want to be? Do you feel like you have more to offer the world, but you're just holding back or something is stopping you? Dang, a lot of people feel that way. I high performance coach. I used to feel that way. Now I don't feel that way because I have an amazing coach and I look at what my clients are accomplishing and I'm seeing, yeah, we don't have to feel that way. But in a conversation recently with my husband, I could see this pattern, the golden thread between people who are not successful or don't have that feeling of success and people who are successful. And so I want you to feel successful. I want you to have we always talk about, having the artifacts to prove that, right? The evidence that you are what you say you are. And so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to share with you, I guess I will tell you, but I'll share with you my ideas as to why you're not the success that you dream and desire to be. And I'm not going to leave you hanging with that, what to do about it. But before we dive into this, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to our sponsor. Mode Wealth is a company that my family has used, and it's just been an extraordinary experience of saving money on taxes. I really like to do things 100% above board. I have to do things in a moral and ethical way because I really like honoring God and I like sleeping at night. And guess what? When I go about things and I partner with other businesses and people that have that same philosophy, I get to sleep at night. And I also get the benefit of having an exceptional product and experience. And so, over the last couple of years working with Mode Wealth, just being able to pivot and go into the right entity, like from an LLC to an S Corp, or, they understand exactly what needs to happen and make those adjustments throughout the year because you're in communication. So if you're looking for a way to, really button up the hatches in a moral, ethical way, but utilize the tax code so that you can use your money to invest in yourself, in real estate, in businesses, whatever it is, then make sure you reach out to Mode Wealth. Their information is in the show notes down below. All right. Thanks, Mode Wealth, for the sponsorship. And let's dive into 3 reasons you're not a success and what to do about it. Well, one of the first reasons most people are not successful is that And I imagine you might be in this position as well. Are you actually ready to receive the success that you desire? Because if you simply want something, but you have not shifted your identity to receive that, you're actually going to be self-sabotaging. Let's explain. Right. You've been listening for a while. You've heard me talk extensively over all the episodes about the subconscious mind. And when we don't subconsciously believe that we can have XYZ level of success, our subconscious mind is going to subtly direct our path for better or for worse, right? And so whatever we believe deep inside our core is going to influence and shape the quality and caliber of our decisions. If you're 1 degree off, you're going to land in a completely different zone. So if you're feeling maybe you have that experience and you set out to tackle a project and you're working on that project and you finish it and you just think it's really not to the caliber that I was anticipating or envisioning, it's falling short. More than likely, it's because of a deeper belief about yourself. So shifting that, I've had to shift my identity, and the podcast has shifted with my identity shifts. I started out with imposter syndrome, and I was timid, but I was doing it anyway. And every step that I took helped build and solidify this internal dialogue, this internal identity that, okay, no, I am a podcaster, and I go around and I say that, hey, I'm a podcaster. Many, like, me as the conscious investor. You come up to me at events and say, hey, conscious investor. And I'm like, it's a thing now, but it took time. So I want to encourage you, give yourself some time and space to, absorb and develop and cultivate that identity, but be intentional about that process. Now, you've heard me say this before, that if you're 1 degree off on a flight from LA to New York, you'll end up somewhere like in DC or so, right? So that 1 degree off is actually very, very significant. And so I want to encourage you to really dig in. If you want that success that you desire, believe it in your internal core. One way of going about that is to actually take time to visualize. I think of it like this. I'll pretend I'm watching a movie of my life in my mind, right? What is this life that I want? What is this that I desire? And when I'm doing that, I'm actually training my brain to be thinking about that, to be looking out for those things. And all the little decisions that I'm making along the way are going to fall in line with what I'm thinking about. For real, tell me if you have ever been trying to maybe eat have a better diet in your life, and, cut out some of those, fun foods like French fries or something. And you go to a restaurant subconsciously, if you are not deeply committed to, I'm not going to have the French fries. If you're not deeply committed to that, guess what's going to happen? It's going to come by, and you're going to be like, that habit is going to come up. That belief about yourself is going to come up. You're placing your order, and subconsciously, you don't even know. You didn't even plan. You were planning on eating, the burger with a side salad or something. And next thing you know, you're placing your order and you're getting a burger and fries, because subconsciously, that's part of your identity and your subconscious mind. You created this habit, and just boom, it happens. So it's critical that we think about these things, so we visualize it, and we understand what it is, the outcome that we're looking for. Now, I forgot what the actual study was. I looked into it. It's been a while, and it was a legit study. But there was a study where these athletes, I think they were playing basketball, and some of the basketball players, they did a normal practice, and they were just doing the normal practice, and they visualized the outcome that they wanted. That's all they did. They didn't do more practice. They just did the normal practice and visualized the outcome that they desired. Then they had another group that they were, doing the normal practice and more. So they were doing more physical effort because, hey, you got to practice, 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 practice. Who do you think outperformed? Yeah, surprisingly, the athletes who were simply doing the normal practice and visualizing the outcome they wanted, they outperformed everybody else. Okay, so this visualizing is really powerful. Now, another way you want to practice that whole receiving the success that you desire is that you're actually going to have to believe in yourself. And you need to cultivate this practice of cheering and coaching yourself. Yeah, this is going to be a shocker. Conscious investor, you might chuckle to yourself because you'll be like, of course you were. Back in the day, I was a cheerleader. I know, big surprise, big shocker, right? And when I think about now, I'm going to football games, for my son and things like that. And you see the cheerleaders out there, and you see the parents out there and the spectators. And when are they cheering? They're cheering either when, somebody is close to, scoring that touchdown, or, shooting that free throw, or right. There's this, oh, we're going to be successful. Or they're cheering when, things are down and you're on defense and you're trying to protect, from your opponent scoring. There are these times when we're cheering. And isn't it interesting that those are really the primary times when people are really loud and cheering, right? Either to protect their team, to cheer them on, no, get them, don't let them score, or to, hey, you've got this, go get it. When we're in the end zone of life, that's when we need to be cheering ourselves on. Sometimes we're going to have to be playing defense and we're going to have to be cheering ourselves on that we've got this. And sometimes we're going to be almost, just like 1 yard away from scoring that touchdown. And we need to cheer ourselves on to cross over and to push through. In either case, we have to cheer ourselves on. We can't expect that to always come from the external people. And the other element is that we have to coach ourselves, right? So what does a coach do? Coaches aren't all mushy gushy. Oh, look at you. What a good job. I'm so proud of you. No, coaches, they're going to get loud. And a good coach is going to point out, like, come on, you can do better, not in the derogatory way, but because they know what is in you. Sometimes when I'm coaching clients and they want to exit stage left because doing the work to achieve the life of your dreams, it takes work. And sometimes I'll just remind my clients, they're in a moment and they'll say, I don't know. And I just thought, no, do the work. Because sometimes you can tell they're on the verge of that major breakthrough discovery. It's like, no, do the work. Okay, right? Sometimes we coach in that capacity. And sometimes we have to coach ourselves through a process of learning. But we have to play both those roles in our lives. Okay, that means that we're rallying for ourselves during the game. And when it's over, you go watch the video or you listen to that podcast episode or you do something, right? And you coach yourself on how to improve. Okay, let's move on. Second reason you're not a success. Conscious investor, hear me. You're asking yourself the wrong questions. I'm reading the book club, the Book and Networking Club right now is reading Ed Mylett's book, The Power of One More. And this quote is just fantastic. He says, better questions lead to better answers. Better answers lead to a better life. Yeah, I am pausing because I want you to let that sink in. Think about the type of questions you've been asking yourself. Listen to that quote again. Better questions lead to better answers. Better answers lead to a better life. A lot of people are asking themselves negative questions, and those negative questions activate our crocodile brain, right? We have fight or flight within us. We want to survive. And so, that huge part of our subconscious mind is primitive. And it's just simply in survival mode, looking for anything that could harm or hurt us. But we are in a different place in life. You're listening to this. This is a podcast. I mean, this is a completely different era in all of history, right? We're not protecting ourselves from a panther that is going to come and devour us. We're, not fighting to stay warm or fighting to find an article of clothing to put on or something, or finding water. So we need to train ourselves to not digress quickly into that negative position in our mind, but we need to be looking into the positive questions. So productive questions, right? In all parts of our lives. Instead of asking questions like, oh my gosh, why is my spouse so cranky today? Ugh. Come on, we've all been there, right? Our partners can get really cranky or whatever. Instead of getting all frustrated and asking that sort of question, we can ask ourselves a better question. How can I support my spouse today? I notice that my partner is a little off today. I wonder how I can support him better. I wonder how I can support her better. Another question we could swap around, we could say, oh man, why can't I ever get the results I want and see? Instead of getting down on ourselves and going about this in a negative way, why don't we try a better one? What's one element I could improve the outcome of? or one element that could have improved the outcome, right? Now we're asking yourself a better outcome. We can't make changes all at once. We can make incremental changes that have a snowball, a powerful effect in our lives. Better questions lead to better answers. Better answers lead to a better life. So start asking yourself better questions. The third reason why you are not a success and what to do about it is that you're living a dream and it's not backed by actions. We have to dream and do. Okay. That's the difference between dreamers. Like people, there are plenty of people I personally know who are living the life of their dreams because they were willing to take the actions. Again, a quote from Ed Milet in his book, The Power of One More, which I highly recommend. He says, dreams and thoughts without accompanying actions will only depress and frustrate you. I can relate to that. When I know I can see something, I can visualize it in my head, and I'm not taking the action, I get cranky. I get frustrated. I am not a pleasant person to be around. Okay. So what do we do about this? How do we take the action? Because it's hard, right? It's challenging to make sure that we're taking every step along the way. So take a moment and create a runway for your success. Write down 3 steps that you can take towards bringing that dream to life. And if we can continue to have those just next 3 steps, we're going to keep that momentum going. We don't need to be overwhelmed. We're not going to reach our dream overnight. We're going to reach our dream through incremental actions. So writing those down is going to be really, really powerful. I was pausing for a moment because there was this concept and I was trying to remember what it was. In the book, The Power of One More, Ed is talking about, what are you willing to tolerate? And a lot of people, not you. See, I didn't say you. I said a lot of people, what they are doing is they're dreaming and they want it and they're frustrated and they're cranky about it and they're depressed because they are unwilling to tolerate what it will take to bring their dreams to life and reality. You're listening to this. That's not who you are, conscious investor. I know that because you're listening to this because you're ready to take all those actions. I get that. And I see that in the conscious investor community. And so when we think about that, what am I willing to tolerate? There's this one point when I was still a public school teacher and it was a transition point. I knew I was coming to the end of my teaching. Well, actually at that point I had one more year left. And I just told myself, if I want to change my life, I'm going to have to really dive into this, and it's not going to be fun for a period of time. It was rough. I didn't entertain, which I love having people over and, Sunday afternoons and barbecues and stuff. I became fairly antisocial and I started waking up at 3 a.m. I still cannot even believe I was able to do that and sustain it with my job. But I told myself, I cheered myself on, right? I had the path ahead of me. I had a few steps ahead of me to get that I could take action on. And I assured myself, this isn't forever. Waking up at 3 a.m. is not your forever reality. This is just a bridge that we're going to cross to get to where we want to go. And I'd cheer myself on. I also did drink lattes at about 1 p.m. as well. I double dipped on the coffee scene. I just to be full transparency on that. So anyhow, you determine, what am I willing to tolerate? If you want something to come about faster, you might have to raise that necessity and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to have to be more focused in this area, and it's not going to be comfortable, but it's also not forever. And so often it's easy to get locked into that. This is a forever situation and it becomes overwhelming. But cheering yourself on and reminding yourself, this isn't forever. This is why I'm doing this. And this is where I'm headed. These are the steps that will take me exactly where I need to be. Okay. So amazing. All right. So let's just do a quick recap. Okay. You need to learn to receive the success you desire. We've got to train our subconscious mind. We can do that through visualization. We need to cheer and coach ourselves on. We need to watch the replay of that project that we, are working on when it's finished. We need to look for the areas where we can improve. We need to cheer ourselves on no matter what. We've got to mind our questions. Make sure that we're asking really great questions. And it's going to take practice. Those negative questions, that is our default, but we don't have to be that way. We can shift that default question. We can reframe it so it's now a productive question. And finally, remember, if you don't have a dream backed by actions, you're just dreaming and you're going to get frustrated and depressed. So dream and do, create that runway for your success. You are absolutely qualified to live the life of your dreams, and you can be the success that you desire. Conscious investors, you are amazing. Thank you so much for listening. So many fresh reviews recently on the podcast, and man, they just fill my cup. I am so grateful for those of you. I think we crossed the 100 review mark. We've got like 106 now, I think. And I can't even tell you the wind in my sails that is. So I just want to thank you. If you've left a review, you are cheering me on, and I appreciate that. And it means so much to me. If you haven't yet left a review, please go leave a review. Just honest. It doesn't matter. However you want to review it, you just leave a review and let me know how it's serving you. Okay. Because that's a fantastic little wind in my sails that I greatly appreciate. And best of all, it also helps people find the podcast. And we really want this type of information out in the world. I know we want to support people in finding that freedom that they desire in their life. And we want to empower them to live that life of their dreams. So please leave that review, share the episode. And until next time, live big, love bigger. Are you enjoying this episode? Help spread the word by sharing the episode with a friend or family member. Because really, where would any of our lives be without other people sharing great content with us? Help spread the word by sharing on your social platforms and with those you care about. And remember, tag me at Happy Julie Holly.